Senior Lieutenant Vera Zakov continually weaved her biplane from the darkened sky into the bright searchlights from below and back into the safety of the black shadows of the night. Machine gun fire and rifle bullets zinged all around her as she manoeuvred to drop the 2 bombs attached to the underbelly of her plane. Her fragile, 2-seated World War I biplane was flying low enough for her to hear the Germans screaming and yelling as she pressed forward to her drop zone. A shell from anti-aircraft cannons ripped through both wings of the plane, passing through to explode above her. The air was hard to breathe as the smoke from the discharged cannon filled her lungs and burned her eyes. The concussion from the blast caused her plane to be pushed downward, closer to the enemy below. Seconds later, bullets from a machine gun struck her plane, just missing her engine and fuel line. Vera raised her hand, and her navigator, sitting behind her, grabbed the release lever and pulled hard. The 2 bombs attached to the bottom of their plane fell, striking their target with great accuracy. Quickly, Vera turned her plane from the glaring searchlights, made a wide circle, and headed back to her airfield. Her hands and legs trembled as she fought to keep their shot-up plane in the air. "Are you all right?" Vera called back to her navigator. "Flak went straight through our wings. No structural damage, though." Lieutenant Sasha Yivaskov, her navigator, leaned forward and yelled to Vera. "Did you get hit?" "No, I am okay. Are you all right?" Vera asked again. "If I could stop shaking, I could check me out," she said. "It appears that I am all right, but someone shot a hole in my pillow. Almost got me that time." Sasha poked a finger through the large hole on the edge of the pillow she sat on. "This was our 4th sortie," Vera said, wiping the frost of her goggles. "We made it through this one alive. I hope it continues through the rest of the night." "Through the rest of the night?" Sasha blurted sardonically. "How about the rest of the war?" 2 weeks earlier. Soldiers loaded the women into the back of the military truck and tied down the canvas that was whipping about in the cold, pelting rain. A soldier slapped the side of the driver's door, and the truck jerked and lurched as it began to move forward. A convoy of 5 trucks pulled away from the training base and headed out towards Stalingrad. Each truck held 10 newly trained women pilots, navigators, mechanics, and armourers. Vera Zakov was an officer in the regiment and promoted to senior lieutenant because of her excellent flying skills during training. She sat in the back of one of the military trucks and peered out at the disappearing city landscape through the canvas covering that offered little reprieve from the cold, wet winds. Her long, light brown hair was done up in a neat, tight bun at the back of her head. Vera glanced at each one of the women and realised she was the only one who had her hair tucked back. The rest of the girls wore their long hair down. She knew they had fussed and primped so that the men would see them at their womanly best. She sat back, studying the young women she was travelling with in the uncomfortable, cold military vehicle. Through the course of their army training as pilots, navigators, mechanics, and ground crews, she came to know some of them quite well. The women came from diverse backgrounds: universities, collective farms, factories, and stores where they worked as clerks. Their ages ranged from 17 to 24, putting her as one of the oldest in the regiment at 23 years old. The frigid and bumpy ride to the train station did nothing to deter the women in the truck from laughing and joking with each other. Vera listened as they talked about all the handsome men in the army they had already encountered. "I have never seen so many men in one place in all my life," a cherub-faced young girl giggled. "Just think, we are going to be surrounded by hundreds of men every day," another sighed. "We can dance and party all we want." All the girls giggled and began telling stories about their home life before they became soldiers in the Red Army. All except one.